Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Running in Circles. In today's episode, we'll review 2021 in general. And joining me in this episode is two of my friends, Nikhil and Vishnu.
Hey Pallav, good to be back here.
Hi guys, it's good to be back here.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. Uh, so 2021 was a unique year for many reasons. So what was your highlight of 2021?
I think you know it should be similar for a lot of people because the expectation was that we'd be out of the pandemic and back things back to normal, but obviously that didn't happen, which means a lot of what you would think would be regular life events were probably impacted. I think it gave all of us a lot of time to focus on either our careers or our education. And for me, obviously, it was my career. I I got my first job late 2020, and so most of my growth here has been in 2021, and I think I've been fortunate to be part of uh, a company where I can grow my personal um, you know knowledge in the domain that I work in, as well as contribute to the
Hmm.
growth of the company. Beyond that, I think just surviving the year without being impacted by COVID, without getting COVID, I think is pretty. I've been lucky to
Yeah, it is a big
be able to
achievement.
do that. Yeah, yeah. That's it. I mean, 2021 has been sort of an unremarkable year for me. I think just
Hmm.
regular stuff.
Yeah, uh, 2021 for me was quite exciting because not obviously not because of COVID, but I did get into CMU and I came here to the US
Yeah, big
and
stuff.
yeah, a lot of cultural change once I got here, and like everything is quite different. And the first thing when I got here, the first thing I realized is like, where are all the people? I'm so used to seeing like at least 10 people on the road when I'm walking past, even during COVID. And when I'm here, I don't see people even on a
You
regular
so
day.
so you've never seen 10 people on the street?
I I mean I don't mean that way. I mean it like at a given time, like anytime I go out in India, I see like at least 10 people on the street. Obviously not like in the middle of the night or something, but during the day. But here it was quite different when like even during the day I never really saw people and all of that. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And stuff like that was quite different. And you know, and yeah, university was really good. I started learning a lot of stuff, and the way they teach stuff here is quite different from what we do in India.
Hmm.
The emphasis on practical knowledge is more, not to not to
Not much on
beat
theory.
up Indian education or anything like that. But yeah, I found yeah, it was quite challenging in the beginning, like to you know, get up to speed with all of it, but I really started enjoying it once I got into it.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine like moving to US and like living mostly by yourself must be pretty tough.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So for me, it would be along similar lines to what Nikhil said, as in like 2021 was like the first year uh, where I wasn't associated uh, with with like college. It was like mostly your work throughout the year. So I started my first job in 2021, so that I would I would definitely remember because of that. And I didn't catch COVID in 2021, so I would count that as an achievement also. And Yeah, it was mostly about, you know, getting this new, embarking on this new journey of corporate and learning everything that I could from it. Uh, yeah. So what other uh, reasons would you remember 2021 for?
I mean, unlike our personal lives, I think there were pretty significant events that happened across the world.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, I mean, since I was in the US, I was more in tune with the events that happened there. Early January, Joe Biden came to power. There was the US Capitol riots, which were all significant, I think, events
yeah,
that
that was
for
pretty huge.
years to come. Um, I was a little late to the party, but I remember the whole GME craze, Wall Street bets. I think that again is going to be a pretty significant event in history because it would have brought in a lot more, a significant number of new retail traders to the
Into
US.
the game.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't make much out of it, but I'm sure a lot of people did, and it
Hmm.
came at the expense of people who were generally, gaming the system for their own um, personal gain.
Profits. Hmm.
Uh, you know, full power to them. Obviously, there was the crypto stuff too that went along with it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there were a lot of pretty significant events that at least rock the world beyond just COVID.
Hmm. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, talking about such events, something that I remember from 2021 is the U.S. Army moving out of Afghanistan and the Taliban taking advantage of that and taking control of Afghanistan. Like what happened, like I, I still can't believe that something like that could happen these days with countries having so much uh
Power.
yeah, power, and like how countries communicate between each other, and like they don't normally let these things happen, right? And yeah, it's just shocking, and watching like some of the footage of people jumping
Yeah, it was
onto
pretty
planes and
disturbing.
them falling off, and yeah, it was really disturbing. And yeah,
But that I think was one of those you can never win situations. Like everyone's been talking about how the US does not belong in Afghanistan. They need to go out, and when they did, this happens, and people are criticizing that too. So I mean, obviously
yeah,
there's nuance to it.
you can't really place blame, but what happened shouldn't have happened is that's all I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
not talking about anyone specifically.
no, no,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, it's like you know it was an unavoidable thing. I think obviously maybe the intensity of what happened would have been different had it been done a little
better.
differently, yeah, better. But it was like chaos was inevitable, given that the entire law and order situation in the country was predicated by another country's military being in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got pretty sad over there. But moving on to some, good things that happened in 2021, apart from personal, reasons, I would say that naturally, as so many theaters and stuff were closed, I started watching, sports quite a lot in 2021 than I've ever seen before. So I mean, there was so many good things that, like pure emotions on screen that I've seen in 2021. In cricket, for example, uh, the win, like the emotions that I felt during the victory at Gaba and at the Lords was so crazy. Uh, and the whole story of, how a young Indian team and like the fast bowling, that whole group had an experience of not more than 5 test matches, and how that team could beat the mighty Aussies at their base, at their fortress. That was a pretty significant achievement, and that made me really happy. And then Olympics also happened in 2021, right? So it was another great year for India at the Olympics. I'm sure you guys know that. So about Neeraj Chopra getting gold, that again made, as Indians, as we felt proud on that. And then it was in football also. Chelsea winning the Champions League, and Italy winning the Euros. That was pretty. They hadn't qualified for the World Cup last year, and they are the champions of Europe. So that was pretty significant. And then in other things, it was a great year for Formula One. Uh, the championship was decided in like the last lap of the last race, and that has never happened before in the history of sport. So I remember uh, like the rush of emotions I felt during while watching this. That was crazy. uh, so yeah, am I missing out on any other sporting events that you guys want to talk?
I I mean, I don't think you're missing out on a lot, but I want to say something about the test series with Australia. I think that's the test series that really got me into watching test cricket. Like before that, I'd probably watch it, but like not for long. Maybe if I had nothing else to do or something like that. But like during that series, I really, I spent time watching it, and it was really interesting once you figure out why the test is so important, and what are
Yeah,
the things that make it so hard, and why every cricketer wants to play on the test team at least once in their lives.
yeah. I think that, yeah. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Test cricket, we shouldn't. I mean, I know a lot of us want to forget, but we shouldn't forget that New Zealand became the first Test champions.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
that was a rough one,
yeah.
but it
That
Yep.
was
was a
still
tough
pretty
one.
significant, I think.
What are your views on that, the final being a single test rather than a series?
I mean, finals in any sport, in any sort of form factor, is always like a make it or break it sort of thing.
I mean, I
So
get that, but the entire tournament was based on like teams
Series.
playing series. And do you
Yeah,
want to finish it off with a final with
I
just one
mean,
match?
the thing is though, it's with test matches, you have 5-day matches. It's not possible to have a tournament like structure, which is
correct.
why the league stage, so to speak, was obviously matches, bilateral matches and series wins and stuff. But I don't
Okay.
think it would be as exciting if it were like a 3 or
If it
5
was a
match
series,
final
yeah,
series, as opposed to a single test, that will either bring it home
decide
to
the
a yes or
outcome.
no. Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
and
guess.
absolute. I think like series, obviously, because the whole tournament is happens across bilateral series. It obviously makes sense that you have a series as a final. But again, I don't like the excitement wouldn't be there if it is a series, because at the end of the day, I'm just happy that the final has to happen in only one place that I can imagine, and that has to be Lords, because
Yeah,
that's the home of
even if
cricket.
it was a series, people would be watching the match that decides the series. So at the end of the day, it sort of becomes like a single match that decides the
I
outcome. So
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But absolutely, like Lords has to be the venue of every World Test Championship final. There's no better place that you can host that. Maybe if like if England is in the final, then maybe like you can hold it in, host it in MCG, or like Eden Gardens in India. Uh, but yeah. So moving on. So what are you looking forward to in 2022?
I mean, you know, first let's get this COVID thing over with already. It's been longer than the few months that they predicted in 2020.
2 weeks.
Obviously, yeah,
College told 2 weeks, and you'll be back on
yeah,
campus.
exactly. Yeah, I think we're all done with this. Uh, I At least for us, I'm sure this is a pretty this is like the peak point of our lives, and we're not really utilizing it to our max extent because
Yep.
of world events. But that's the more obvious one, I think. You know, I it's been every year has been more. We've had very world changing events happen every year. I think I'm looking forward to just a quiet year without any significant world event happening every month. Just going back to the sort of light news and gossip that filled the newspapers
Yeah.
I
before.
feel like things have always been happening, but we just haven't had the free time to, notice those things. And now that
Yeah.
we're at
Maybe,
home, we
maybe that's
notice
true.
almost every single thing that happened around the
Yeah,
world.
that, and
Yeah.
I'm sure tech is also spread out a lot more,
Yeah.
meaning news is very much accessible now instead of yeah, I don't know if any of us would actually read the newspaper, the physical variant, but exactly. So yeah, so if it pops up in whatever you're doing, I guess you notice it a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Vishnu?
I mean, I guess it's pretty much what Nikhil said. I don't. I mean, but I don't think we're gonna get rid of COVID anytime soon. But I mean, I don't mean to be the negative person, but yeah. Uh, but at least I wish we get to a situation where we're not dictated by it, and we could, go back to being normal with whatever needs to be done, and we don't get affected by COVID as much, and go back to normal life.
Vishnu, do you
That's all
have
I
any
want.
New Year's resolutions?
No. Do you?
Did Okay, let me rephrase that. Did you have any that you have failed to keep in the last 9 days?
No, I didn't. I don't make resolutions because I know I'll fail to keep them. So,
Fair.
what about you?
I'm
I
still
also,
working on it. I again, the 9 days. I think thinking about what you want to do and then actually creating workable resolutions makes more
Hmm.
sense than starting from day one and then failing week into the new year. So I'll work on it, and I'll let you know once I figure it out.
Okay.
Pallav, you have any resolutions?
no, I don't make any resolutions as such, but there are a few things that I like to work on throughout the year. So that this year, I wanted to, go like just grow more at uh, at career wise, and then you know take this podcast to the next level, which I am working on currently. So yeah, in 2022, I'm just looking forward to the end of COVID. Hopefully, this year is it, and we can get back to normal in 2023. But otherwise, I'm just looking forward to grow personally and grow career wise in my job, and take up more challenges at work. Hopefully grow there. So yeah, anything else to add? Uh, okay. So, all right, then that was a good episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good to have both of you here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. Thanks, Pallav. Good to be back.
Yep.